Yo guys, back in studio here, hanging out with the guys from LiveX, bringing you all that went down on this weekend for Hollywood Hills. So, it was Lesotho 400, the latest round of the National Off-Road Championships. This was the round that was supposed to be rocking in Bloemfontein. LastMinute.com, Sharon Moore putting his hand up for Live Lesotho, coming to the party and bringing us an incredible race. Cool to be racing in the lowlands in Lesotho as well. Tirabissu, the tribal area, that was where we were based earlier in the season for the National Enduros. So we're utilizing the flatland sections, meaning we were staying away from the mountains, a couple of low passes, quite a lot of river crossings, but a very, very cool and kind of old school layout of the track. Let's get straight into it and go through some of the categories. Start things out with the Masters. So Wayne Farmer went down there. He's been trying to build on his Masters Championship. His closest rival on the season has been Peter Hall when Peter Hall has turned up. No show this time around. This time around, it was Martin Poole and Jan Burning running 2 and 3. So where was Van Zeventer? Didn't find the liking, didn't find the trail to his style, and it was 4th place. And for Van, that's the first time he's been off the box. So as far as the championship goes, Wayne is now the outright champion to go ahead and take that number 1 plate. In the seniors, one of the big stories, let's talk about some of the things that went down at the beginning of the weekend. So we start things out on the National Off-Roads with the time trial prologue to see how everyone is going to line up. So it was Brad Cox that went pole position. But the big story here, while I'm talking about the seniors, was Wade Blau got 2nd overall in the time trial. That set him up absolutely perfectly to try and run and hide. And it was his best chance of beating Bolly van Rooyen on the season. Didn't work out that way though. Running well inside the top 4 and looking for probably his best overall result on the season. A late event crash, I think like 30 Ks to go on the last loop. Big crash, Wade went down, a couple of busted ribs. Bad enough that he actually couldn't finish the race. So that was a big story and a big blowout in the championship. And that's going to change up the running in the championship. So once again, it was Bolly van Rooyen that took the win. Heintie Hanekom taking a 2nd place. And those are the guys that are going to be running the 1s and 2s. And Wade, ribs is a relatively easy fix, but anyone who's broken a rib will tell you it's an awkward fix as well. So it's going to be a while till he can actually get on the bike and get training. So that was the big story in the seniors category. The other stories though in the seniors was Hannes Simon getting another 3rd place finish. That may see him challenge for a top 3 overall come the end of the season because he's been very, very solid on the numbers. Also, good numbers coming in from our Dakar superstar, Stewie Gregory, taking the big 500 out there and finishing at number 4 with a number 5 finish coming in from our very own Vian du Plessis. So Vian has got some good number 5 numbers and he should be able to start thinking about a national number 5 come the end of the season. Onto our high school category races. Now on the season, Dav Cocker has been untouchable. The big story up here in Lesotho though, his first DNF of the season. So big problems for him in the championship, but he should be able to recover nicely as we go forward into the double headers that remain for the rest of the season. So who walked away with the win? A nice old school, new school mix of the track meant that it was going to be a multi-talented, multi-tasked rider who could actually go forward. This time around it was former Mr. 125. Now I can call him that once again because he has taken a national enduro win at the beginning of the season. Now he's taken a national off-road win just over the halfway mark of the season. Ryan Pelter was your champion. The kid that's coming good on the season though, and the kid that has seen the most improvement on the high school category this year is Matty Wilson. In his first year on the 125s, gets a number 2 finish, beats out former national champion Nardis Robbie into the number 3 spot. So we always thought this was going to be the case. We've come into the second half of the season and a lot of the championships are starting to change up with riders who looked infallible starting to make those crucial mistakes. In the OR3 category, the man to beat on the season the whole way through the year has been Brad Cox. He has been hammering the nail and putting the hurt on the rest of the field. But here, there were some major problems. After coming off a win in the prologue time trial and looking to go and take the overall victory like he did down at KZN, a big crash early on in the race and collarbone out. So that's a big story and one of our major competitors and champion hopefuls with a collarbone out. He'll do the quick fix though, get the repair done, and because we're going to be losing the next round of the championship that was supposed to be stellar, that's by the way being cancelled. So that's a big story. So there's a massive gap for the National Off-Road Championships before we go to the doubleheader round at the end of the season for Freiburg. That's going to help out Cox, but he is going to have to win those last 2 events to try and get his number 1 plate. The winner here in Lesotho and his first national win of the season goes to Stefan van Deventer. So he was really on point himself and Hayden Cole. taking number 2 spot. In fact, we're the only finishers with a high attrition rate on the 250 machines. So Steph gets his number 1. Hayden Cole cements what looks to be either a second or third in the championship, depending on what the Brad Cox situation is going forward. So we've got the seniors, masters, high schools, and the OR3s. What happened in OR2s, which for me is the most terrifying stacked gate of all. So the OR2s, beginning of the season was all dominated by the KZN kid and the reigning champion on the OR2 gate, riding out of KZN Durban KTM, and that's Gareth Cole. So Gareth Cole really put the squeeze on the rest of the field, and it didn't look like anyone was going to be able to run his numbers. Then we went to Carnival City, and in the dust and the wild rocks out there, it was the brawler Ian Rawle who put the hurt on and got his first national OR2 victory and started to close things down on the championship. Going forward into Lesotho, I was just going to be interested to see if Rawle could carry on that momentum. Unfortunately, he couldn't. He finished off the box in a number 4 spot, which should still see him running in the number 2s on the championship, but it's going to tighten up as we go into the rest of the season. The guys that finished 2, 3, and 4. So we've got Brawler and we've got Cole on the top, but who was 2 and 3? And that's important questions to ask at this stage of the game, because second was one of the most consistent riders on the tour, Jared Coetzee. So he's looking for a win in the category. He hasn't got one yet, but he is really flying, and he is a rock-solid number 2. He's right there to pick up the pieces if anyone else makes the mistake. And in third place, it's the return to form for Taki Bodgiodges. We covered him a couple of weeks ago in the previous round of the GXCCs, and he said to me off camera, he is starting to feel that love and the speed and the aggression coming back, and it's starting to show. Third place here, he's out of the championship running, but the speed is starting to come, and that's good news for Taki. But it was Cole that beat out Rawle between first and fourth. That sees Cole extend off the front in the championship now. And on to the big bangers. This is a huge story. So coming into the event, literally 1 week before everyone loaded up the trucks and headed up to Lesotho, King Kenny, in a freak training accident, went down the road, landed awkwardly on his elbow, had to go in for surgery and get a full elbow rebuild. So from here at Hollywood, obviously we're wishing King Kenny a fast recovery, but that is it for the championship. There's no way he's going to be able to recover from that, and I think it's going to be bigger goals, Dakar and Morocco and rally training from now on. But he was leading the championship. He was looking to get back the championship that he lost 3 seasons ago to Ross Branch and has continued to lose to Ross Branch for the last 3 seasons. So no show for Kenny in Lesotho. So who was going to get onto his bike? Brett Swanepoel. He's out of the OR2 championship. He's a rider coming back from his injuries. So the guys over at Pepson Plastics Factory Husky said, step up. You need to get some points on the plate for the 450. So Brett Swanepoel rolled up and walked away with a 3rd place on the gate. That's a massive story for us. But who were running the 2s and 1s? Well, coming into this round, it was a tie on championship points for the 2 Brother Leadertrade Factory KTMs of Ross Branch and the ever consistent, and the man who's getting faster and faster at every single event on his 500, Lawrence Mahoney. So it was all to play for. A very strong qualifier for Mahoney put him inside the top 5, and a low qualifier, and it seems to be a bit of a chink in the armor for Ross Branch. A low qualifier put him outside the top 5. He was going to have to get and deal with quite a lot of traffic to try and get up to the back wheel of his rival. This time around, it was an incredible ride for Lawrence. He didn't take the overall. The overall was taken by Hayden Cole, but he still ran some incredible numbers on his 500 to take a top 5 overall, but more importantly, his first ever national win in the OR1s since returning to the category. Second place to Ross Branch means that going into the final 2 doubleheader rounds of the season, final 2 rounds, which is the doubleheader at Vryburg, that means the red plate is on the bike of Lawrence Mahoney, and he stands a chance of trying to take a number 1 plate come the end of the season and put another championship next to his name. Ross knows what he's got to do. It's going to be a big fight, but it's an in-house fight for the factory KTMs. Dart, unfortunately, big problems, didn't find the track to his suiting outside of the podium positions, and one of the championship threats at the beginning of the season, that's JC Nienaber, another rider that went down during the race, and he is in the hospital. He's going to have some metal in his wrist. He's possibly a no-show for the rest of the season as well. So Lesotho certainly changing up the game. So what about what else went on this weekend? There's always so many events going on. We try and cover as much as we can. So Our good friends over there at 421 Racing headed across the border once again. This weekend was the Kapong 200, the latest round of the Botswana National Off-Road Championship season. So Gideon, Marty, Quintus Swanepoel and Junior Vardy went across there. It was a great win in the Q1s for Quintus, getting on top of the box with a second place for Marty. Where is Gideon? Well, he wasn't on the quad this time. He was side-by-side racing with Junior, and they actually had a solid lead on their category coming into the last 20 Ks. A snap belt, they did the repairs just to get passed by their rivals, walking away with a second place finish. So great riding and great results to see these guys mixing it up, racing as much as they can, and they're certainly rock stars when they cross the border. The guys in Botswana absolutely love their style. For Brian, he was out testing his machine to get himself ready to try and fight back and try and claim some points in the GXCC's Master Championship chase. David Stratum was out turning the laps on his bicycle just to try and stay strong as well. So that was our crew from 421. We give them a high five for all of their efforts out there racing, training, and waving the flag across the border in Bots. So what else is coming up in this crazy, wild, and can you believe it? We are coming into the racing month of August. So next weekend, I'm out with the cars in Bronkhorstspruit. There's a little bit of a gap for the bike racing guys, but I'm going to be super busy out there with the cars. So first up in August on the 10th, it's courtesy of Jono Horsforth and the 424 Racing guys. They've got Farm Mania coming up, so make sure you guys tag that. It looks like there's a hole in the calendar, so you guys should be able to go and turn some laps. There's a 10K loop for the kids race and 26-kilometer loop for the seniors with plenty of camping, prizes, farm stalls, and everything you need to go racing. So we'd love to see you guys support that. Next up, GXCCs. Rustenburg is on the 17th, and it's going to be an absolutely wild one, and it's going to be fun because I think we might just be able to bring you something quite special after that event, courtesy of LiveX and Hollywood Hills. Watch this space. The weekend after that, we go flying straight into the next one. That's going to be Farm Jam round number 4 on the 24th of August. And also, check out the specials that the guys at Vans Racing have got. They've got a blowout on all of their Husqvarna winter gear. Go check in with Melissa, and you can see the numbers at the bottom of the page. She will hook you up with some crazy winter specials because it looks like the groundhog hasn't seen a shadow yet. We are in for at least 4 more weeks of freezing cold conditions. That'll take us well into Farm Jam round number 4. We'll see you guys up there. So watch out for next week's show. We're going to be bringing you a wrap-up of the 424 Racing Farm Mania event, as well as a sprinkling of international flavor. Remember, it is Romaniacs 2019. Who was champion in 2018? Big Wade. So we've got a strong lineup of South African riders that have went across there this year, and we'll try and see who's going to be waving the flag. But all eyes will be on Wade next week. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Back in studio, and we'll be bringing you more of the same as the racing month of August unfolds. Cheers.